Dear members of Parliament of Asgardia, Second Parliament, it's my pleasure to welcome you personally to your first sitting. 5 years ago to date, I was standing on stage in Vienna, addressing the first ever in human history parliamentarians of the digital space nation of Asgardia. At that moment, we were at the very beginning of a new unexplored path, and we could only imagine the outlines of what we were to accomplish together, what we had to achieve, what we had to learn, what to overcome, and what to have to strive for. And now, in line with the constitution of Asgardia, time has come for the first Asgardian Parliament to lay down its powers and authorities, and for the second Asgardian Parliament to commence its work. I would like to express my gratitude to all the members of the first Parliament for the great work they have done over the past 5 years. A total of 180 people have been members of Parliament during this period. Some of them moved on to work to the government or to my administration. Some left the Parliament due to various personal reasons. Several people were expelled by a decision of Asgardian Supreme Court. New members have been re-elected to fill the vacancies. Gathered here today are those to whom residents of Asgardia have given their votes, to whom they have entrusted the further building of the legislative framework of our nation, which is destined to be the future of the entire humanity. For the future of humanity lies far beyond the confines of planet Earth. It's in the universe. I extend my sincere congratulations to all of you on the assumption of office. There were a total of 247 applications submitted for the elections. 16 candidates were rejected. 227 candidates were allowed to stand for election. In line with the Asgardian constitution, you are now 150 people with the most votes today. It is good to see many familiar faces, people who have been at the forefront of parliamentarism of the first space nation in the history of humankind since 2018. You have decided to continue your service to humanity, to devote your time, strength, intellectual power, and energy to further development of Asgardia. Your dedication and willingness to share your experience with new members of Parliament is worthy of respect and admiration. 80 members of the first Parliament qualified for the second Parliament, which is 53%. It is a special pleasure to welcome new members of Parliament. In accordance with the wishes of Asgardians, last year, during the work on amending the Asgardian constitution, it was proposed and overwhelmingly approved to remove all the age limits for Asgardian civil servants in any position. In particular, the previously existing age threshold of 40 years for membership in Parliament was lifted. I'm glad to mention that this decision has already paid off. The Parliament was enriched with the new young people from various countries and became younger in its average age, going down from 88 in the first Parliament to 48 in the new one, by as many as 10 years. I'm sure that the combination of experience and wisdom with the energy and enthusiasm of the young will bring additional fresh blood to already established habits and traditions of Parliament. A total of 70 new members joined the second Parliament, 46.7%. This is a serious renewal which demonstrates the presence of real democratic processes in Asgardia. The broader geographic representation of Asgardians living in the countries of planet Earth is also a testimony to that. There were 33 countries in the first parliament, and there are 49 in the current one. 16 more countries are represented. This is not essential, since Asgardia sees no earthly boundaries of state, but it rather shows the growing influence of Asgardians on Earth, where over 1,100,000 people living in over 200 countries. The Constitution of Asgardia defines the structure of our nation as a classical democratic system, with 3 independent branches of power. As members of Asgardian Parliament, the independent legislative branch, you are responsible for the development, discussion, and adoption of Asgardian laws, which are necessary for the continuous development of its economy, industry, further establishment of the governance system, and development of governmental institutions for engagement in the international activities and interaction and collaboration with the countries of planet Earth. On the basis of Asgardian Constitution and 11 already adopted acts, which you need to get acquainted with, as well as guided by the Act of Acts, regulating the activity of Asgardian Parliament, you will have to continue your laborious efforts on the detailed development of further legislative acts. I encourage you to focus on the agreed priorities so that in the next 5 years, our legislative framework goes to the next level. Today, in your first agenda, there are 2 most important issues: the election of the chair of parliament and the prime minister appointment. Regarding the candidates for the chair of parliament position, all the members of parliament have a right for self-nomination. About the prime minister, in line with the constitution, I held a meeting of the Supreme Space Council on 18th of June, Leo 1st, on the candidacy of Prime Minister, and the recommendation was forwarded to the Parliament. Until the new government is formed, the current cabinet will temporarily perform its duties to ensure the smooth functioning of the executive branch. The third independent branch of power, the Asgardian Court, continues its work, since the term of office of our 4 Asgardian justices is unrelated to the term of the Parliament. As for the Supreme Justice of the Asgardian Supreme Court, the same as exactly 5 years ago, I have just signed a decree appointing Mr. Yun Zhao to this position. I would like to thank him for his service to Asgardia in the course of the past 5 years, and to wish him continued fruitful service. And after my address, I would ask Mr. Yun Zhao to supervise and monitor the conduct of this parliament sitting until you have elected your new chair. In conclusion, I would like to say that I expect each of you to participate personally, not only in lawmaking, but also in bringing the ideas of Asgardia to the people of your countries of residence. Expanding the circles of Asgardians and residents is also your responsibility. You should lead the Asgardian representative offices in your Earth countries and cities. Please involve those candidates who did not make it to the parliament, but who can head regional and city representative offices. Finally, we need to start collaboration with parliaments of the planet Earth countries and make every effort to gain international recognition of Asgardia as an independent nation. Yet, in all the multifaceted activities of all the 3 branches of power, not for a moment should we forget the primary mission of Asgardia: the birth of the first human child in space to ensure the eternal existence of humankind in the universe. I wish you a fruitful and constructive work in the second Asgardian Parliament. We are one humanity, one unity.
I hug each and every one of you. Thank you for your attention.